Taurus, this is your astrology forecast for September 2015. Thanks for joining me. It's nice to be with you today. I'm going to give you a really detailed look at what's coming up for you this month. Okay, so brace yourself. There are two eclipses going on this month and they're going to have quite a significant impact, so I'll tell you about those. But the first thing happening really this month is that you start the month with a lot of planets in fire here. Okay, so the element of fire is really going to be strong and you're going to feel much more passionate and much more excited and much more willing to change than you usually would. Also on the first, Uranus trines Mars, okay, and it does that from the end of August, the 29th of August, through until the 18th of September, so for 2.5 weeks in this month, okay. And what that means is that you're going to have your own unique ideas about the way, especially I think your family should be run. I think you're going to have really strong views and opinions of what the beliefs and value systems are. So whether that's, we should all go to church on a Sunday, or we should let the kids go out till 10 in the evening instead of 11 or whatever it is, or 9, you're going to feel quite strongly and you're going to feel quite able to listen to your own guidance. And I think especially around the first, you'll be quite opinionated and just trust yourself. I mean, I really think this comes from a good place. Uranus also trines Venus all month. And Venus and Mars are sitting there together in your 4th house, and it's about the family. It's about the male and female. It's about working at the family unit. It's about a coming together and conceiving of the family unit. Okay, so you're going to be quite take an active role in creating your family life the way you want it. So if you don't have kids and you're a son, you have parents, you're going to want to alter that relationship, or you're going to want to have it a certain way. So if your dad rings you up once a week and tells you what a disappointment you've been, it happens, then you're not going to want to tolerate that anymore, okay? You're going to say, I've been listening to this for a while and I am not listening to this. So just allow yourself to feel that, because we do have a say, we do have an ability to influence the kinds of relationships we permit in our lives, and I think you make a positive change here on the first. On the second, Neptune starts to oppose Jupiter, and it's actually started doing that from the 15th of August, and it will continue to have that relationship with Jupiter, and vice versa, Jupiter will have a relationship with Neptune until the 14th of August. Neptune's in your 11th, and Jupiter is in your 5th. So I really feel that during this time, pretty much 2 months, you're going to dream of what your romantic life could look like. Whether you're single or whether you're in a relationship, you're going to have a clear idea of what you want this to be like. And if it's not the way you want it, I really see that you take practical action to create it the way you want it. Because Jupiter is there with your Sun, I think you can make very good progress again to create the kind of relationship that you want. So this theme is really strong for you already in the first 2 days. It's about you and in connection with other people, how you want those relationships to be, and what are you going to do about it? What practical action are you going to take to make that happen? On the 3rd of September, Mercury starts to square Pluto. And Mercury is the communication planet, and Pluto is the planet of rebirth, Hades in mythology, life and death, the phoenix rising from the ashes. And through your communication, I think you're going to find either an opportunity to go on a trip, a joint trip or something like that, or you're going to find a door opening in terms of expanding your skill set through education. But there's a definite move forward, and it's important to speak to people on that level and about that kind of thing on the 3rd of September. On the 4th of September, the moon starts to square Jupiter and your midheaven, which it is 10 degrees away from. Okay, so the moon starts to square, where's the moon? Moon starts to square, midheaven and Jupiter. And that's interesting because it's about having a clear idea of what you want to achieve in your relationships and feeling strong enough to be able to take practical action, basically. So you trust yourself and you're able to deal with things that sometimes seem a little bit too much work. You know, that example I gave you with your dad, sometimes that will grind you down, but not at the moment. At the moment, you're like, all right, I've listened to it, I've heard it, I'm not doing it anymore. And that's strength, you know, to be able to put a boundary in place that way. On the 5th, there is a T-square between your Neptune, your Sun, and your Jupiter, and your Moon, which has now moved into the 2nd house. And this is interesting because what you're dreaming about in terms of your relationship life, today is the day to communicate that, especially if you're in a relationship already. So, we never have date night, we never do anything on a Saturday night. I would really like us to spend some quality time every Saturday night, and I want that in our relationship. If you're single, it's a good time to kind of create a profile if you're online dating or something like that. It's a great way to communicate your desires and your wants and your needs. On the 7th, there is a grand trine in water in your chart. And this is interesting because this is, so far in September, this is the best time to express your true feelings to other people. And by communicating them, you know, words have power. And you know, all the things about Disney and all the wizards and all the kids things, they all say things like abracadabra and open sesame and all of that stuff. But the underlying principle behind that is that words have power. And if you speak a certain way, that will become a reality. And I really believe this. And Louise Hay often speaks about this. Words have power. There's even an audiobook, I think. But so for instance, if you go around all day saying, I'm beautiful, I'm wonderful, I'm loving, I'm happy, I'm joyous, not only will you believe it, but you'll exude an energy and you will attract situations that will confirm that. If you walk around saying other things, like the negative side of things, which now I'm very careful about even saying on this video, then you're going to attract those sort of things, okay? So for you to really manifest and speak and be open and honest about your relationships and what you'd like to achieve is very powerful on the 7th. Venus also comes out of retrograde on this day, which is awesome news because Venus is the goddess of love, the goddess of romance and affection, and when she's in retrograde, it's a little bit difficult to start new things. So love and romance and positive emotions will start to flow more easily. On the 9th, by the way, just to give you the dates on how long it was in retrograde for, it was in retrograde from the 24th of July until the 7th of September. So quite a long time. On the 9th, the moon starts to trine Saturn, just for the one day. And this is, again, another good day for you to alter your personal relationships and the restrictions that you experience in them. And that doesn't just need to be family, although that's where you'll feel this most strongly, but it can be any of your relationships. You know, people often tell narratives about people which have nothing to do with the truth of who they are. You know, my daughter is an accountant, and if she's been an accountant for 5 years, it becomes my daughter the accountant. Even if she hates her job as an accountant or if she loves it, it doesn't matter because part of the narrative becomes the daughter who is an accountant, you know? And for you to kind of get people to see you as a person with feelings rather than just a kind of facade or a labeled kind of entity, and this is what she does, and she has blonde hair and she has a boyfriend, all of that stuff. It's a good day to connect with someone on a real level, especially if you're trying to make changes to a relationship and if you're trying to alter those. You know, a lot of people who have that kind of thing, experience that kind of thing, are people who have suffered addiction, because they'll say, oh, you know, it's different this time, I'm really on the road to recovery, and people will see them through their actions and not their words, you know. And it's a good day to connect on a genuine level, and someone can actually see you for what you're really like on this day, you know, to get a glimpse of the real you. It's quite difficult to do sometimes because we all classify things, and that's, if we looked at everything truthfully every time we saw it, we'd spend all day doing that. And that's why you have words like that's a tree and that's a car, so you don't have to spend a lot of time. Geez, okay, I've spent a lot of time on that. Let's move on. Okay, Ascendant, your Ascendant squares Mars, Moon, and Venus on the 10th. Okay, and that's a continuation of the previous day. You really feel yourself and you're able to communicate that very well. On the 12th, the Sun, Moon, and Jupiter actually conjunct in preparation for the new moon that happens the next day on the 13th. And this is a really great day for you to actually plan and to have a look at what you want to achieve in your romantic relationship life. So like the example earlier, you know, we should do something on a Saturday night. I do want to be in a relationship. Stuff like that. It's a really good time to put your dreams into practice and to see a positive outcome. So if you do go on an online dating site, if you register with a website or something like that, and you want to meet someone, then it's a good day to actually have that happen. Because things become crystallized, energy is drawn in, pulled into that sector of your chart, and something is going to happen. Something positive is going to happen. Now, the new moon does occur on the next day, and it's in Virgo. And that really, a new moon always pulls in energy. It's a great time to plant seeds and to plant new intentions. But also, it's a partial solar eclipse that happens on the north node. So not only does it pull in the usual kind of new moon energy, but it pulls in the eclipse energy. It's like a vacuum cleaner, okay? And the north node is in Libra, so it's about pulling in positive ideas about your future relationships, and it's almost like a magical manifestation of how wonderful your relationship life can be in future. So if you have a dream today, or if you see your ideal man in your mind's eye, hang on to that, because it may be a prediction of what's to come. And that's important for you to value that, and it's a great day to manifest those things and then to work on them. You'll only be able to see this in a practical sense if you're in South Africa or Southern Africa. Namibia, Botswana, all of those places. We can't see it anywhere else. Unless you're in Antarctica, you'll be able to see it too. Okay, the next day, those kind of themes continue, but what I just want to touch on is that Mercury is in Libra all month, this month, and it's in your 6th house of day-to-day life. So I know you have wanted to make some changes in your relationships. The good thing is that Mercury is not in retrograde, and it's in Libra, which is the sign of building bridges with other people, exchanging thoughts and ideas. So you come across very well this month, and if you are trying to alter things in your relationships, it's a really good month to do that. So embrace that job and take it on board. From the 15th, Saturn starts to square Mars, and Saturn sits in your 7th and Mars sits in your 4th. And that continues until the 5th of October, okay? Mars is the soldier, he's the warrior. And Saturn is the old man who's the status quo, he's the government. These are the rules and this is what you're going to stick by. So you've got the young man trying to make his own way in the world, and then you've got the old man saying, hang on a minute, this is how you do it, and you can't just do whatever you want. They start to clash. And especially, I think you're going to get really frustrated if people misunderstand you, if people see you in a certain way or tell stories about you. I don't think you're going to tolerate that, and you're going to say, well, hang on a minute. And this came up already earlier in the month, but I think you're going to get quite tough with that. So people are spreading rumors about you, if people are treating you in a way that has nothing to do with who you really are, I think you're going to be very clear about how they've gone wrong. So remember, use that Mercury, say that in a respectful, clear way. You can be direct with people, you don't have to be abrasive, offensive about it, although there will be a tendency to say, you have no idea, and to completely destroy someone quite aggressively. There's going to be a tendency to really just blow someone out of the water if they get it wrong. So just kind of exercise a little bit of caution there. 2 days later sees the moon sextiling your midheaven in the 5th house. And this is interesting because you make some progress on this day. I think you get some good news in terms of your romantic life, something that you've been working on. So if you have been working on your relationship that you're in, or if you have been working on meeting someone, I think you make more progress today. I think you get some good news in that sector of your life. On the 18th, Saturn moves into Sagittarius, and it stays there until December 2017, so 2.5 years. So this is significant. Saturn, I've mentioned him earlier, but whatever Saturn kind of touches, it puts the focus on, and it scrutinizes it. It's in Sagittarius, so what you're going to be scrutinizing is the way your relationships are expanding and moving forward. And you're really going to be quite critical of other people and the liberties, in inverted commas, they feel they can take with you. And I think you're going to become much more assertive in terms of who you are. And I think you're going to become much clearer in terms of how other people can treat you. This is really great, you know, it depends on your situation. If you're a judge, then you'll have that developed very nicely already. But if you're someone who ends up in relationships which are constantly, where your other half is constantly belittling you and making you feel like you don't have enough skills or talent, you're really going to be able to say, I don't know who you're talking to, but it certainly is not me. And that's really helpful, because sometimes we do need to get tough and stand up to people. Because everyone on this planet has an ego, and sometimes you have to say, hang on, this is what you're doing, and enough is enough. The moon squares Chiron on the 20th, and that's in your 11th house. Yes, this is another great day. I think by being this firm, clear self, you're going to see a way forward in a relationship that has been a little bit iffy as of late. So by no means is any of this, I'm not saying that you're going to lose certain relationships. What I'm saying is that your strength of character actually improves your relationship and takes them in a more positive direction. And I think a relationship specifically on the 20th that has caused you a lot of problems and that has been a disappointment for you. So for instance, if you've cared about your best girlfriend, but she's continually betrayed you or misunderstood you or things like that, it's a good day to kind of set some new boundaries and to be able to find a way forward, to move forward with that relationship. And some relationships take more work than others, and on this day, a relationship that does ask a lot of you is able to progress. There's also a grand trine at fire on this day, and that's, yeah, and that really complements that. It's your strength, it's your fire, it's your passion that's able to move things forward. Not because of the other person becoming enlightened, because you tackle the problem. On the 22nd, let me just tilt my head so I can actually see this. Yes, there's a T-square between Mercury and Uranus, and it peaks in your 9th house. So, there's a desire to communicate, or you are communicating with someone. It gives you certain ideas, and it opens up a door in the way you can learn, expand your knowledge, travel. Something like that opens up on this day. So whether it's an opportunity for a trip, or whether it's a course that you've been looking for that you actually find today, there's a rebirth in your knowledge, in your practical skills, which are going to help you become more able in your working life, in your personal life. You get more skills going. On the 24th, the moon quincunxes Jupiter, and this is always very kind of karmic. It's like the universe gets involved when there's a quincunx, as far as I'm concerned. And this is between your work again and your practical actions that have been really good. And I think someone teaches you something that helps you progress your career. So whether that's just something that really resonates, someone saying something that really resonates with you, or going on a work course or study, another door opens in a way forward. And the end of the month here, so between the 20th, the 22nd, this is about new doors opening and finding alternate ways of moving forward. I think you're going to be very pleased with that. Mars goes into Virgo on the 25th. And this is interesting because, again, Mars is the soldier, it's desire. Virgo is like the old spinster lady, you know, the archetypal maiden or crone. Not maiden, crone, yeah. The archetypal crone in this case. So if the soldier is in that kind of sign, think of it as Lady Macbeth almost, okay? And that's in your 5th house. So it doesn't mean that you're going to go around killing Duncan or the king or whoever it was and then going crazy. What it means is you become very critical of other people, especially in your relationship. So remember, the beginning of this month has been about implementing things that will help you improve things if you're in a relationship. If you're single, you've been trying to make progress. But now if you get to the 25th and things haven't changed, I think you're going to blow your lid a little bit and say, I've worked at this, I've tried to make this work and nothing is happening and I'm a little bit frustrated. So, you know, make sure that you're powerless over other people, okay? You can't control other people, but you can cooperate with other people and you can work towards shared goals. So make sure the things that you're trying to achieve are shared desires so that you don't, like let's say you're in a relationship and you want to spend more quality time, but your other half really doesn't. And it doesn't matter how much you try, it just won't work. So make sure what you're working at the beginning of the month is actually a joint purpose. Okay, on the 28th there's a full moon, and that's in Aries. So that's fire, and this is a blossoming. So your ability to drive forward and to achieve things is heightened, but it's also a total lunar eclipse. It's also known as the harvest moon, and then it's eclipse. So it's quite interesting this. It's like your ability to create and move forward is almost interrupted and blackened out. So this is about letting go of things that you work towards and try really hard at, but sometimes I go nowhere. Frustrated desires, dreams that don't come true, and the fallout that comes about as a result of that. If you're in North America, on the East Coast, if you're in South America, if you're in Western Europe, Central Europe, Western Africa, you'll be able to see this. And then finally, on the 30th of the month, there's a grand trine in Earth. And this is like we're getting back on the horse. The kind of storm has now passed, and I'm looking at taking practical action and how I can progress in my life and what I can do to make things better. So you get productive again and not frustrated. So it looks like quite a changeable month for you. It looks like you can get a lot done, but it looks like if things don't go your way that you can get a little prone to be angry. So make sure you have an outlet for that. You know, go kickboxing or do something where you can channel that anger, because anger is a great energy because it helps you do things. You know, people get angry and they can throw plates across the room when usually they can't. It gives you extra strength, it gives you extra energy. So it's important to use that energy in a wise way and not to kind of burn bridges. So I hope you found this useful. If you'd like a private reading with me, please visit my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Remember to subscribe to the channel. It actually helps these videos to be seen. And if you want to find me on Facebook, I'm there as well. It's facebook.com/GregoryScott444. Have a wonderful September, and I'll speak to you soon.